Yesterday I was at the Europeers conference in Buckinghamshire, and one of the kids at the conference actually asked me about the trigger of, is it Article 11, which is about freedom of the press. And I didn't know anything about the story at the time because it's not come up on my news feed or anything. But we have an expert here who wants to present things from his point of view. So what's your take on what's happening in Brussels at the moment?
Well, Madalena, what we're talking about here, it sounds a bit technical, but it isn't really. Article 11 of the Copyright Directive is about the publisher's rights, and the publishers who own news outlets feel that tech giants like Facebook, like Google, Microsoft should actually pay if they want to put their stories on their platforms. At the moment, they can take the stories and they can pull in advertising around them, and the media that produce those stories, the journalists who wrote those stories or broadcast those things, get zero. And the publishers are saying, this is ridiculous. Okay, we live in the digital age, but Google, Facebook, Microsoft, sorry guys, you should be paying something towards the cost of this journalism. So that's what the publisher's right is about, basically.
And you were saying that it's not actually the individual person, user on Facebook or Twitter, that's paying the tax.
Yeah.
It's the corporation.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolute bollocks, basically, that the individual's going to pay. This is about the tech giants paying, but unfortunately, this is a battle, and sometimes, the truth and lies. The opposition, the opponents of the publisher's right, are saying, they're lying. They're saying that basically ordinary people like you and I, if we can call ourselves ordinary, it's very hard to call the EU Supergirl ordinary, but we will. The publishers want us to share stories. They want us to talk about their stories. The only people they want to actually pay for these stories are the big tech giants who earn advertising and divert advertising from the media that produce these stories. And this is really important because the media is a cornerstone of our Western European democracy. The media, is democracy. If we want to avoid fake news, we need to invest in quality journalism we can trust. And if we don't have a publisher's right, then more and more media outlets are going to go bankrupt, more and more journalists are going to lose their jobs. So, what the publishers are asking from the tech giants is a pittance. It's a pittance, really. But they should pay. They should pay up. They've got to pay their taxes, and they've got to start paying for journalistic content that they want to use.
Yeah. From a perspective of a young person, a lot of our online content we share it freely, and we expect it to be free. We've got YouTube taking down the music industry, and social media now sort of taking down the news and the press. And I absolutely think that if we've got content, somebody should be paying for it, and the people that should be paying for it are the tech platforms.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned YouTube. That's a good example. Originally, YouTube paid nothing to musicians for playing their music. They basically said, musicians, you should be totally happy that we're showing your videos, we're showing your songs on YouTube. But no, sorry, they should be paying something. We're not, no one's asking for large sums to be paid, but of course they should be paying something. And it's the same with news producers, for journalists, for publishers. They're doing the work, they're finding the story, they're writing the story, they're broadcasting the story. It's their story, and yes, they're very, very happy that the tech giants put their story on their platforms, but the tech giants have to pay something for that. And I think to anybody with any kind of common sense, that seems reasonable. But it's become a very, very hysterical debate in Brussels, unfortunately, because the tech giants have incredibly deep pockets compared to the publishers, and of course they are arguing very much this is about freedom of the internet. This is not about freedom of the internet. The internet is going to continue to be free. You and I will be able to continue to share our stories or other people's stories This is about the big tech giants paying up, making sure that journalists and publishers are treated fairly. That's what it's about.
Okay, this is from an expert. Dennis.
Well, a so-called expert, a bit biased, but ex-journalist and working on the publishers' right. But I really appreciate you giving him an opportunity to stand up against Google and tell it how it really is.
Thank you.
Thanks, Madalena.